What's up, guys? Welcome back to Project Cars 2. I know it's been a while, but I was feeling in the mood to record some gameplay because the Rolex 24 is coming up, and of course, you guys know that last year I recorded a ton of videos in various different racing scenarios throughout the years of America's 24-hour race. But one scenario I didn't do because it wasn't possible at the time was to go back and race as a GT car in the 1980s. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I am very much a lower class citizen in this car, the 1981 Porsche 924. Now this car finished something like 6th at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1981 or 1982. I can't remember exactly when it was, but that was a pretty significant feat because, as you can see, cars like the Porsche 935 and the 962 were also racing in that race, and they were significantly faster than this little barely racing car, so to speak. It's a pretty much a road car that's been widened and given a little bit more power. This car in particular comes from Hulbert Racing, and those of you familiar with Porsche and their history in the United States will know that Al Hulbert, one of the drivers of this car, was instrumental in a lot of Porsche's American racing activities, particularly in bringing the Porsche 962 prototype to the American shores, as well as heading up the Porsche IndyCar program. That didn't work out quite as well as the Porsche 962. That being said, we're going to go racing for 25 minutes, a twice around the clock style of race, and I'll be very lucky not to finish last. Now, there is another Porsche 924 in this race, so that will be the target. If I cannot finish stone dead last, that will be fantastic. The other cars in this car's particular class, which is Group 4, are significantly faster than it is. There's a Ferrari and then a BMW. Those cars have wings. Those cars have V8 engines. This car has neither of those things. Regardless, it'll be an interesting challenge, and as you can see, we have a multi-class race as well. We've got the Group 5 cars out there as well as the Group C cars. So this is going to be exactly like a Daytona Rolex 24 would be around the era of 1985, 1986. Now watch this. As we all come out onto the banking, things are going to get a little hairy as I run into the Group 5 BMW, I believe that one is. Then we're going to have the Bob Sharp Racing Nissan there, or a Datsun, I guess you could say, as well as a Sauber Mercedes. And look at the speed differential between all of these cars, and you can just see it really puts it into perspective how outmatched this poor little 924 is. But that'll be the key and the interesting part of this race. Can we kind of recreate the historical accuracy of this car being sneaky, the tortoise to the other car's hairs? We'll just have to wait and see. Alright, let's go racing at the classic Rolex 24 GT style. We're ready to go racing. You may notice in the top left-hand corner of the screen a new innovation for these particular videos, and something that's been in the game since day one, but I just kind of realized that it's there. There's a little HUD part. Whoa, as we got a spinner. One of the BMWs decided to take a dive at the first corner there, so that's, forget what I was saying about the HUD, because that's not nearly as interesting as cars crashing on the first lap. But, yeah, okay, so the HUD, you'll notice that you'll be able to see all the cars in the race, or at least the ones closest to me on track, and that will give you an indication of when faster cars are coming up behind me, and that should be kind of fun to watch as this race progresses. So that's a good start for me, because I gained 2 positions because the 2 BMWs decided to have it coming together there. And we're going to come on to the banking here and see if I can get a run on these BMWs. Now, theoretically, I may have a little less drag in the car, but we'll have to see. I'm not entirely sure as we head down through the banking, get it up into 5th gear, and head into the bus stop. Let's see if I can get a good run through the bus stop. Down 2 gears, drive nice and easy into there. On the throttle, build up the turbo boost pressure. And that's something you have to manage in this car. Even though it's fairly underpowered, there's still turbo lag, believe it or not. And that can cause some issues. So up into fifth a little bit early there. It seems like in the infield, I'm a little bit better than my competitors. Now, like I said in the intro, this car is a little less potent, how we say, than the contemporary BMW and Ferrari in this class. So we'll just have to see if I can just drive a little bit better, make up a little time in the twisty bits. The AI are on 110%. Because I was a bit rusty, I didn't want to turn them up too high. Even though they tend to be a little bit slower at Daytona and some of the tracks that incorporate ovals for whatever reason. So like if I do an oval race at Indianapolis, I mean they're at 120, easy. So I didn't make up too much time there on the BMW ahead of me, but I'm able to hustle the car just a little bit out of that final corner onto the banking once again, but it seems like I'm losing just a little bit of time. At least I'm able to stay ahead of, well, the BMW that's directly behind me. The other BMW is quite a bit of a ways back. I wonder if he had to make a pit stop after that opening lap schmozzle, as Bob Varsha would put it. Down 2 gears, dance the car through here. Oh, you can see it moves around a lot. But it's a lot of fun when you get that right, that bus stop right in this car in particular. Because again, it's a 5 on the floor, stick shift, manual. You know, it's not got a ton of grip, but it's not particularly fast either. So you kind of have the best of both worlds. You can really throw it around the track. So I lost about a second there on the banking to the BMWs ahead of me. So it's clear this is where I'm going to have to make up my time here on the infield section. You got to be careful on the curbing. You get too much of it, it can affect your car, or this car in particular, I should say. Now that BMW behind me has actually gained in quite a bit. And you got to be careful through the kink on the backstretch. I can assure you that's a corner in this car. In kind of modern prototypes or even modern GT cars now, it's not necessarily a corner. You just take it flat out. In this car, totally different situation. You've got to be careful not to swap in or have it swap ends on you, because it can do that. So as we come up through the gears, you can see how far the Group 5 cars already are ahead. Remember, that's the middle class here. We've got Group C, Group 5, and Group 4. And they're already 30 seconds ahead, so we may see the Group C cars twice during the course of this race. Ooh, a little bit of a slide through there. I didn't quite get through the bus stop as well as I would have liked there. The front end kind of gave up on me. Still got 2.3 seconds over the BMW behind me, and 35 seconds ahead of the 5th place BMW in class, but it looks like he's about to get lapped by the, at least according to that, he's going to get lapped here very shortly by the leader overall. And in Group C, of course. Some of the Group 5 cars are pretty fast. I don't think any of the truly fast Group 5 cars showed up in this race. But some of those cars can match kind of the backmarking Group C cars under the right circumstances. And yeah, the Group C cars have already gone past the back marker in our class. And definitely the temperature change is starting to affect my car. Remember, this is January. so we're sliding around a lot more in the infield.
Okay, we've got some pressure coming from behind. Start thinking about defense.
And we got the Beamer up the inside, so here we go. You can just see how quickly he closed in. I guess the AI has a little bit better cold weather setup than I do, but he definitely had a better run as well. I didn't drive that as well as I would have liked to. So up in the 5th gear, you can just see he's really pulling out a lead here, and we'll very shortly be seeing the Group C cars as I run across the grass because I drove a little too deep into the bus stop. So now the mistakes begin as we've got 17 seconds and significantly shortening between the time we're going to be seeing this clear road ahead of us and behind us to having Group C cars up our trumpet, so to speak, as the British say. As you noticed, a granny shift there from me. On the banking as I just try to find some grip, or at least find the racing line. Don't use too much curb there, David. And a second. Find the apex on the throttle. Gonna have to be careful through the kink. You notice I had to take a couple of relaxations on the wheel there, for lack of a better term. Just kind of had to let the car have its own little thing there without forcing it, because if you force it when it's kind of bobbing and weaving, it may end up biting you. And here we go, Group C cars already. 962 Sauber Mercedes by just that quickly. I'm going to get to the bottom of the track. You know, it seems like that's where the AI want to run. That's not where they're going to want to run here in just a second. We've got blue flags. We've got a Rothmans Porsche going through, and another car. Now you got to be so careful not to follow the prototypes into the braking zone, because that can cause its own set of issues. Woo! Well, at least they caught me on the banking, so it really wasn't that much of a penalty to have them come through like that. But certainly, it gets your attention when they go flying by at 180 miles an hour and you're going whatever this is, 140, 145, maybe 150 by the end of the straightaway. We're not going to be seeing the Group 5 cars for a while. Actually, what may end up happening is that the Group 5 cars may end up catching us right when the Group C cars catch us again. And that could be disastrous. We're not even halfway through the race yet. You hear 15 minutes remaining. We're getting there, but not quite there. So I've lost quite a bit of time in that little exchange. A little too easy into that corner there, the second horseshoe. Now we accelerate out. I'm actually kind of looking over across the track, because you can do that, to see when my contemporaries are coming up behind. They're not quite there yet. As you can see from the HUD, we already have one of the Group 5 cars which has lapped the back of the field BMW. So that means next couple of laps we'll be seeing our Group 5 friends. Woo, unless I send it way too hard into the bus stop, and I almost threw it off the road there. That would not have been good. Back end tires were saying, no thank you, please don't do that. And I somehow managed to convince the car to go through that corner properly. So that's good. Up into 5th gear. Somehow the BMW has managed to put 12 seconds on me in 2 laps. See, that's why I wish there was another Porsche in this race. Because I would be able to kind of baseline my performance off of that car. So like I said, there is a bit of a performance disadvantage to using the 924 versus the other 2 cars in this particular class, in this particular game. I'll tell you, I really am getting pretty good at this heel-toe thing. It's starting to actually come pretty naturally to me. I'd love to drive a real car on a real track with an H pattern and see if see if it translates. If this learned skill from a video game can kind of transfer into real life, or I'd probably just blow the clutch up and blow the engine up, and I'd be in trouble. Now I've got a car coming up behind me. Yeah, blue flags, but I'm going through a corner where I just cannot heed very much. But I can get to the bottom. That's a Group 5 Porsche. That car should easily come around the outside of me. Look how fast. I'll tell you what, those cars, in a lot of ways, the Group 5 cars, they accelerate faster and they have a faster top speed than the prototype cars, because that car looked incredibly fast coming by me there. And you can just see how much distance he put on me. There in the banking. All the way down into 2nd gear, bring it up to 3rd. Don't use too much curb there, David. And I went a little too late on the brakes there. Try not to lose it on the exit. We do have another car coming up behind me. Hard to tell if it's a Group 5 or a Group C car. I'm guessing it's a Group 5 car because we don't see any purple nameplates on our scoring monitor there. So I would make the assumption that it's the 2nd place car in Group 5. And indeed, now watch this. Watch the acceleration of this particular car. Here he comes, and there he goes. Woo! That is quick. The car is very quick. There's a lot of speed differential between that car and this car, as we've got 10 minutes to go in the race. Ooh, that car, the car was not liking that. It stepped out a little bit on me there. Just a little bit, but it did step out. Should start to be seeing sunrise right about now, if I remember properly, from this game. And that's also assuming that I've set up the 24-hour time cycle properly. We may be having like an 18-hour race. According to this game. We'll see. And all the way into 2nd gear. Up through the gears. I let the turbo kind of unspool itself there. That's something that you can do in these kind of cars, especially ones with big-time turbo lag. If you're off the throttle for too long, the turbo will lose all its boost pressure, and then you'll have no acceleration off of the corner. So a lot of times if you're driving one of these turbo cars, you have to like use a little bit of throttle in the middle of the corner when you're braking and downshifting and all that fun stuff, so that you can actually keep your boost pressure up. So we've got a couple of more Group 5 cars. These appear to be Capris, maybe. That's a Capri. What's this car going to be? And a BMW. I don't even remember if those cars did much endurance racing, if at all. I think they were more sprint racing cars. And I braked where the Group 5 cars were braking, and that was a mistake. Those cars have big wings, and I do not have those. Whew, okay. And we've got more headlights coming up behind me. I believe those are Group C cars. So now we've got a very interesting conundrum here, where, just kind of like I said, I'm going to kind of hunker down in the cockpit. Oh, my God. Ah! Please don't hit me. Okay, I think there's one more Group C car coming up behind. And then that'll be it. I don't know why that other Group C car has fallen off the pace quite as much as it has. And I've got the blue flags, but I've got nowhere to go. Please be smart in your overtaking, sir. Alright, he goes around. I kind of was a bit of a wuss on the throttle pedal there, again, in that corner, but I kind of wanted the Group C car to go away, please. So that's what I did. A little bit of grass on the exit. Never hurt anybody, I think. I'm guessing that'll be the last time I see the Group C cars, but we'll see. Now it's just going to be about not finishing last. We need to stay ahead of Martin Johansson, and I've got 10 seconds on him right now. Of course, Martin was the guy who decided to spin and crash on turn 1, lap 1, and I've just been the guy who's been dog slow this whole race. So we'll see exactly who ends up winning the battle of the wits here. Ooh, it's just a little bit of a slide there. Man, the Group C cars, Tobias, 20 seconds ahead of my car already, and he passed me at the beginning of this lap. Put 20 seconds on me in one lap. Can you just imagine? And it definitely does not look like we're going to get a proper time change here.
Nice pace. Just try and pick it up a little bit. You're very consistent. Now you just dig out a few extra tenths of a second.
So the 12 Hours of Daytona, or whatever this is going to be, because we've got 5 minutes to go, and the weather does not look like it wants to change. I'm out of practice on just all fronts here. Woo! Gonna get a little bit of a slide going there.
5 minutes remaining.
Well, since Sebring is not in Project Cars, we have to do it at Daytona. .1 seconds is the gap. It's time to get a little more aggressive, I think. Or at least try to drive a little bit more smoothly. One of the two. By the way, those things are opposites. But I'm sure there are many a team manager out there who has asked their driver at one point, yeah, we need you to increase your lap time, but also drive smooth. You're killing the tires. So we'll just have to see if we can pull that off. We still got quite a lead there. And I think 4 minutes is about 2 laps. But again, I guess it really depends when and where the Group C cars pass the line. And again, it really does seem like my night pace is not nearly as good as my day pace, because as you can see there, the best lap delta is 2.5 seconds slower than what it was earlier on in the race. So that's kind of strange. I wonder what setup changes I should have made to this car. make it more balanced in the cold weather, or at least faster in the cold weather. Because again, I've got it set realistic mode, so we've got the it's January in Florida,
3 minutes remaining.
and it's been dark this entire race. You do the math. Okay, so Johansson is closing in significantly. This is where the excitement comes. With 2 minutes remaining in the race, that's about, in terms of this car, about 1 lap. We've got to hold off the BMW, which has come from nowhere because he was literally wrecked at the first corner. Yet he's driven valiantly to come back up through this field. And now here we are battling for the final place.
2 minutes
Last
remaining.
place with 2 minutes remaining. Oh, he's coming. He is coming fast. And here comes the sun. Oh, I had to block him. Up into 5th gear. He's got the speed around the outside, and he's going to make that pass very easy. So clearly. Oh. I almost crashed. I put the car in 4th gear. That's just all sorts of bad things that are happening right now. Hey, that sun might come out and warm this track up, and I might be able to take another shot at him. Let's see. We've got 11 seconds between me and the next Group C car, or the first Group C car, the overall leader. I wonder if that car will lap me again. That could be very interesting, because that may mean that I may not have to do another lap. We'll see. Alright, sun's out, guns out, time to go. Yeah, this is going to be about the 18 hours of Daytona. Sorry about that, I guess it should have gone times 50, not times 40. I'm a dummy. Oh well. Well, 20 seconds to send it, but we may have one more lap. Depends if that Group C car comes in and passes me before we get to the line. Just through the bus stop we go, on the throttle. Try to get that run. Up a gear. 1.7 seconds. So you can see the times are coming down as the sun comes out. If you were actually doing a real life endurance race, I'm sure you would change the tire pressures a little bit to better cope with driving this in different kind of conditions weather-wise. And yes, we do have one more full circuit. So let's get after it. 1 lap to go. And we may be getting lapped by... Oh no, that is a Group 5 car. So the Group 5 cars have caught me, which is fairly interesting. As one of them dives across the grass there. Ooh, he brakes. So, are they done with the race? I'm honestly not sure. Ooh, I almost crashed the leader there in Group 5. That would have been really bad. Now we got a Group C car behind me. Oh god, this is all kicking off. It's all bad. It's all not good. But I think the Group C cars may be done with their race because we're not getting blue flags for them. Ooh, you can just hear the granny shift there. Well, they're going to pass me anyway. So I guess that is... Yeah, they're going slow enough that I suspect they're just mercy passing me. We'll see. Yeah, the Sauber certainly is going way off the pace. See how much higher I sit in this car than that Sauber, though, when he went by. Now up through the gears one last time. Coming through the banking. Well, I finished last. And I got lapped by cars that had already finished the race. So I'm guessing this was absolutely a success. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, they're coming into the pits. Oh, and joyous of joys, we've run out of fuel. So to go faster, I took a lot of fuel out of the car, and as it turns out, boy, my calculations were almost perfect, but they weren't quite perfect. So thank God I wasn't racing for the win there, because otherwise that would have been a real embarrassing thing. So there you go. That was Daytona, and that was running as the lowest of the low-class citizens there. And yeah, 14 laps. Yeah, that's exactly what I put in my car, and it didn't quite make it to the end. So I wasn't very fuel efficient. The car wasn't very good in the cold night conditions in January. This was a tough race nonetheless. A tough race nonetheless. That doesn't make any sense. That is not English. But regardless, I hope you've enjoyed this race, because this was a fun car to drive. It was definitely an interesting experience. It was one I wanted to try. I've tried it. I may not want to do it again. As you can see, the crash at the first lap, and there's me almost crashing myself trying to avoid. So regardless, I think a lot of people do enjoy these kind of older style races. It's definitely kind of a peek back into history, kind of what was this like in period, and it's certainly fun to experience it. Though I would say if you're doing this style of race, maybe turn down the AI, because this is definitely a God mode hard style race. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. Subscribe for more motorsport content, and we'll see you in the next video.